Chapter 11. The verb kinds. Read the following sentences. The magician showed some tricks. The children swam in the pool. The teacher is happy. Lata Mangeshkar, a sweet voice. Mother has a new sari. The above sentences can be divided into subject and predicate. In the first sentence, the verb showed tells us something about the subject, the magician. In the second sentence, the verb swam tells us something about the children, the subject. The third sentence conveys, tells what the state of the subject is, and the fourth and fifth sentences, the verbs, tells us what the subject possesses. Note: words which say something about the subject are called verbs. A verb denotes action or being or possession. Transitive verbs. Read the following sentences. The cat drinks milk. What does the cat drink? Milk. Milk is called the object of the verb drinks. The teacher punished Manish. Whom did the teacher punish? Manish. Manish is the object of the verb punished. The tailor stitches shirts and pants. What does the tailor stitch? Shirts and pants. Shirts and pants is the object of the verb stitches. Note: when we get answers to the question what and whom with the verb that is the object of the verb. A verb that requires an object to complete its sense is called a transitive verb. Some more examples of transitive verbs. The gardener waters the plant. Sonia reads a book. The washerman washes clothes. The hunter killed a lion. Father loves me. The verbs in these sentences also take objects. All of them are transitive. Intransitive verbs. Read the following sentences. The baby sleeps. The sun rises. The boy was running. Dogs bark. Fire burns. In the above sentences, the verbs make complete sense by themselves. The verb that makes complete sense by itself and does not require an object is called intransitive verb. Some more examples of intransitive verbs. The moon shines. Stars twinkle. The angel smiled. The boy laughed. The book cost me 100 rupees. The verbs in these sentences are also intransitive. They do not take any object. Linking verb. Read the following sentences. Kamla is a student in the BA class. The child appears happy. That child seems restless. This vegetable tastes bitter. His excuse sounds strange. In these sentences, the words that follow the verbs are subject complements. The verbs act as links between their subjects and the complement. Verbs of this kind are called linking verbs. The verbs in the sentences above denote a certain state or steady condition. They are therefore called stative linking verbs. Here are some other verbs in this class. They feel worried. The books lay scattered. He looks satisfied. I remain unconvinced. Rest assured. He is becoming weaker and weaker. She is growing old. The milk turns sour. The verbs in these sentences are linking verbs of another kind. They denote a process or a change in the person or thing mentioned in the subject. They are called dynamic linking verbs and they can be used in the progressive tense. Read the following sentences. He is weak. She grew tired. They looked disappointed. In these sentences, the subject complements are adjectives. Now, look at these sentences. He is a student in a public school. Ashok Kumar became a brigadier in the army. He looks a gentleman. In these sentences, the subject complements are nouns. Remember, linking verbs have subjective complements, not objects like those of transitive verbs. Linking verbs may be of stative or dynamic nature. Linking verbs may have their subjective complements as adjectives of nouns or adverbs. Linking verbs are also called verbs of incomplete predicate. The detransitive verb. A verb that can have two subjects is called a detransitive verb. Read the following sentences. She gave him a 10 rupee note. He forgave me my fault. Miss Sharma teaches us English. Note. In the above sentences, after the verb, there are two objects, indirect object and direct object. The indirect object is usually a person to whom something is given or for whom something is done, and direct object is usually the name of something. The indirect object usually comes before the direct object. Auxiliaries and modals. Auxiliaries are helping verbs. They are not the main or principal verbs. They help the principal verbs in giving sense of different kinds. Auxiliaries can be classified into two main categories: primary auxiliaries, modal auxiliaries. Primary auxiliaries. The primary auxiliaries consist of three kinds. 1. To be. Am, is, are, was, were. Second. To have. Has, have, had. Third. To do. Do, does, did. Examples. To be. Am, is, are, was, were. She is writing a letter. Continuous. Birds were flying. Continuous. The work is finished. Perfect. I am to go today. Express an arrangement. Note. She is a teacher. They were doctors. Is and were are used as principal verbs in sentences 1 and 2. To have, has, have, had. I have informed her. Perfect. They have been doing their work for an hour. Perfect continuous. Note. I have a pen. They had a bungalow. In sentences 1 and 2, have and had are used as principal verbs and not auxiliary verbs. To do, does, did. Do you take a glass of milk every day? She does not come here regularly. Did she help her friend? Note. They did their work. She does her work. Did and does in sentences 1 and 2 are principal verbs and not auxiliary ones. Modal auxiliary. Look at the sentences in this table. Mohan can drive. You may go and play now. He will take up the job. We shall be in Mumbai tomorrow. He should see a doctor at once. They would want to attend the party. We could get to the station well in time. The words in the second column of the table above are also auxiliaries or helping verbs. They are called modal auxiliaries. Together with the main verbs that follow, they express the mode or manner of the actions denoted by verbs. That is, they express such ideas as ability, probability, possibility, permission, obligation or duty, advisability, etc. Example, you may go and play now means you are free to go and play now. Similarly, Mohan can drive means Mohan has the ability to drive. He should see a doctor at once means it is advisable for him to see a doctor at once. Note: the modal auxiliary does not change according to the number or person of the subject as the primary auxiliaries do. For example, I can drive, you can drive, we can drive, he can drive, they can drive. The modal auxiliary does not stand alone, but always goes with a full verb. For example, you must work much harder. Only the base or the dictionary form of the full verb can be used after a modal auxiliary. For example, we cannot say he can driving or he can drove or he can driven. Important. But if the primary auxiliary be or have is put after the modal auxiliary, the main verb can be put in its different forms. For example, we can say he may be playing. He could have said this. Note: as regards the detailed use of different modal auxiliaries, it will be taken up in a separate finite and non-finite work. Read the following sentences. Nitika sings a song to enjoy. They sing songs to enjoy. In sentence 1, the verb sings has Nitika for its subject and it is singular in number. In sentence 2, the verb sing has its subject they, which is plural in number. Both are finite verbs because they are limited by number and person of the subject. Both the sentences above have another verb, that is, to enjoy, which is not limited by numbers and person of the subject. It is called non-finite verb. A non-finite verb is not limited by number and person of the object. Non-finite verbs: infinitives, participles, gerunds, infinitives. Infinitives: to plus first form of verb, to start, to run, to die, to live, to sit, to stand, etc. Bare infinitives: first form without to, bid, dare, need, feel, hear, know, let, make, see, watch, observe, etc. Participles: participles are known as verbal adjectives because they are partially verbs and partially adjectives. Present participle: it is formed with the first form of verb plus ing. Example, he was caught stealing. Past participle: it is formed with the third form of the verb. Example, I saw a faded flower. Perfect participle: having plus third form of verb or having been plus third form of verb. Example, Having taken an umbrella, he went out. The gerund. The gerund is a verb noun. It is partially a verb and partially a noun. It is formed with the first form of verb plus ing. Example, swimming is a